All right, so today we're diving into something a little different. We've got this video, and you might think, but stick with us because this thing is, well, it's wild. It's a whole soap opera packed into.
Yeah, what's really interesting here is how this seemingly simple video, it actually touches on some pretty complex stuff. We're talking about power dynamics, the whole idea of online validation, and just how far people are willing to go to get what they want.
Okay, so let's break this thing down. So the video centers around this young woman. Her name's Joy, and she's married to this older, successful businessman, Abraham. The thing is, Joy, she's done with the whole marriage thing once out. But she doesn't just want a divorce. She wants to, like, win the breakup.
Yeah.
Well, wants everyone on her side.
Right, right. It's almost like this need for public sympathy. It's pretty fascinating, really. It makes you think, like, is this a sign of the times? This whole idea that how things look online is more important than, reality.
Yeah, it's a really good question. And to make sure she comes out on top, Joy, she cooks up this whole elaborate plan to make Abraham look like the bad guy, like refuses to cook, puts down his appearance, even hints that she wants him to, like, get physical with her, which is, really messed up.
Yeah, that's a big red flag. It's like, where do you draw the line, right?
Yeah.
Even just thinking about using something like domestic violence to manipulate a situation, that's pretty dark.
Oh, absolutely. And it gets even crazier. So Joy's got this friend, Tina, who's a makeup artist. Tina's struggling financially, working for this, well, let's just say her boss isn't exactly a saint. So Joy, she sees Tina's desperation and, well, she comes up with this plan.
Oh man, the contrast between Joy's pretty cushy life and Tina's struggles, that's another layer to this whole thing, isn't it? It really speaks to, like, class differences, ambition, and just how far someone might go when they feel like they're, like, trapped.
Totally. It's like watching a slow-motion train wreck, honestly. So Joy's idea is totally bonkers. She wants Tina to, like, seduce Abraham, and in return, Joy will pay her a ton of money, gives Joy the grounds for divorce, infidelity, and all that. And Tina, well, she's desperate for cash, so she reluctantly agrees. I mean, can you blame her?
It's a tough situation, right?
Yeah.
It's like choosing between, your morals and your basic needs, and the whole setup. It's almost comically awkward. Tina becomes a live-in maid, and her job is to, well, seduce Abraham, even though she's clearly uncomfortable with the whole thing.
Yeah, you can, like, feel the tension. Now, Abraham, he seems like a pretty decent guy, actually. He's polite to Tina. He defends her clothes when Joy criticizes them. He even, like, over-apologizes after accidentally brushing against her arms. Like, he doesn't even want to be in this situation. But then...
Well, there's this key moment. Abraham's alone with Tina one evening, and he kisses her. But then he immediately pulls back, like he's, full of regret, keeps apologizing. It's like even when he, slips up, his conscience kicks in.
Oh, totally. And of course, Joy, she sees her opportunity. She stages this big confrontation, catches Abraham and Tina together. The whole thing is, like, super dramatic.
Classic manipulation, right? Joy's playing the heartbroken wife perfectly. And Abraham, at first, he beliefs her. Really shows how easy it is to be deceived, even by the people you think you can trust. Makes you wonder, how fragile trust really is.
It's brutal, really. But just when you think you've figured it out, Tina, well, the guilt gets to her. She's also developing feelings for Abraham. She just, she spills the beans, tells everyone about the whole scheme. Talk about a plot twist.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, It really exposes how deep Joy's manipulation goes, the lengths she's willing to go to get what she wants, but it also shows how Tina's her conscience is evolving. She's struggling with, right and wrong.
For sure. And Abraham, he's just floored. I mean, betrayed by his wife and someone who thought he could trust. It's got to be devastating. But Joy, she has this whole meltdown, confesses that she, doesn't even like Abraham, wants her freedom, and let's be real, a huge divorce settlement.
That confession, it's harsh. It completely blows up that whole image she's been, carefully building up.
Yeah.
Shows the resentment that's been driving her actions all along.
Yeah, and the aftermath is just, it's crazy. Joy's off celebrating her freedom. Meanwhile, Tina's, she's dealing with the guilt and the fact that she's, fallen for Abraham. And the video ends with this cliffhanger, like, will Abraham ever be able to trust anyone again? Will he and Tina, have a chance?
That open ending, that's what makes it so brilliant, don't you think? It makes you, like, really think about the consequences of everyone's actions, and wrestle with these questions of morality and forgiveness.
Yeah.
It really makes you think about about the role money plays in all this. Like, it's clearly a huge factor for Joy, right? But it also it shapes Tina's decisions. It's like this ripple effect that touches everyone.
Yeah, totally. Money's like this invisible puppet master,
Yeah.
pulling everyone's strings. For Joy, it's about escape,
Yeah.
being able to create this life she wants, even if it means, being kind of shady to get there.
And the way she uses her her wealth to like manipulate Tina, that's pretty telling, isn't it? It's like this power imbalance, the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah, it's like an uneven playing field. And for Tina, she's just trying to, get by. She gets caught up in all this mess, almost like she doesn't have a choice.
Right, her story, it's like this reminder that for a lot of people who are struggling financially, tough choices, they become like the norm. Choices that might force them to compromise their values. Makes you think about the hidden costs of economic inequality, right?
Yeah.
Not just the material stuff, but how it can like warp relationships and decision making.
It's definitely something to think about. And it brings us back to this whole idea of, authenticity in the age of social media.
Yeah.
Joy's got this perfect online persona, right? Projecting this image of happiness and freedom, but underneath it all, she's pretty miserable.
It's like she's living a double life, the Instagram version versus, the reality. And it makes you wonder how much of what we see online is actually real. Are we all just like performing for this invisible audience?
It's a question a lot of people are asking these days, for sure. In this world of influencers and perfectly filtered lives, how do we even begin to like figure out what's real? How do we build genuine connections based on trust?
It's a tough one, that's for sure. But maybe the key is remembering that behind every profile there's a real person with flaws and everything.
Yeah, exactly. We need to be more critical of what we see online. Understand that those perfect lives, they're rarely the whole story.
And maybe we need to be more mindful of our own online presence. Try to be more authentic instead of getting caught up in this pressure to project this like idealized version of ourselves. It's about finding that balance between sharing our lives and protecting our privacy and our emotional well-being.
Yeah, I think that's really important because real connection, it doesn't come from likes and followers. It comes from being vulnerable, being honest, being real with each other.
So as we try to figure out this whole world of social media and online relationships, maybe the best way to approach it is with like a healthy dose of skepticism.
Sure.
Critical thinking,
Yeah.
and a commitment to building connections that go deeper than just the surface.
Right, because at the end of the day, the relationships that last, they're built on trust, understanding, and a willingness to accept each other's complexities.
And those qualities, they're often missing in this online world where it's all about performance and this idea of curated authenticity.
Oh, speaking of which, remember that scene where Joy, catches Abraham and Tina? It was so staged, right? Like pure theater, designed to get her followers on her side.
Yeah, that scene, it's like a textbook example of how social media can be used to like manipulate and control the narrative. Joy, she's using the platform to broadcast her version of events, making herself look like the victim.
It's almost like a case study in how social media can be, weaponized to sway public opinion.
And it really shows how important media literacy is, being able to see through the smoke and mirrors. We need to like figure out the motives behind the content we consume, recognize that things aren't always what they seem.
Right. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion. Constantly questioning, looking for the truth that's hidden beneath the surface.
Which brings us to the whole concept of truth. In this video, you've got multiple perspectives on the same events, right? Each character, they're presenting their own version of reality.
It's like a reminder that truth can be subjective, filtered through our own experiences and biases. Yeah. And in the age of social media, where information spreads so quickly, it's more important than ever to be discerning.
Absolutely. We need to be aware of our own biases, consider different perspectives, and be willing to challenge our own assumptions. Because the truth, like this story shows, it's often way more complex than a single viral video can capture.
So as we continue to, grapple with all these ethical dilemmas and societal challenges that this TikTok video throws at us, I think the key takeaway is to keep searching for the truth. embrace the complexities, and approach everything we see online with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Because in a world where manipulation and deception are becoming more and more common, those skills they're more essential than ever.
Okay, so we've talked about Joy's, her manipulations, Tina's moral struggles, and Abraham's, his vulnerability. But let's not forget the core of all this drama, right? A
Yeah.
marriage that's falling apart.
And what's interesting is that this whole portrayal of a failing marriage, it really highlights the lack of communication and empathy between Joy and Abraham.
They're living in the same house, but emotionally they're miles apart. Joy's so focused on what she wants that she's totally missing Abraham's perspective, and Abraham, he just seems lost, like he can't understand her needs.
That inability to communicate effectively, to really listen to each other and address the underlying issues, that's something you see in a lot of relationships that break down. It creates resentment, frustration, and ultimately it destroys trust.
And their communication problems, they're even worse because they have such different views on life, on style, even on social media. Joy sees Abraham as like old-fashioned and out of touch, while he seems baffled by her obsession with appearances and online validation.
It's like their values and priorities are just totally different. It's like they're speaking different languages, pushing them further and further apart, making it making it seem almost impossible for them to reconnect.
It's a reminder that even in the closest relationships, open communication and empathy, they're essential for getting through those inevitable rough patches.
Without those foundations, relationships can they can crumble under the weight of unspoken resentments and unmet needs.
And that's a valuable lesson for all of us, really, no matter what our relationship status is, whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, or even family dynamics. Communication and empathy, they're the building blocks of healthy, fulfilling connections.
So as we continue to dig deeper into this story, let's keep that in mind. Even content that seems kind of superficial on the surface can offer some really valuable insights into the complexities of human relationships. And maybe by thinking about these themes, we can learn to communicate more effectively and build stronger, more authentic connections in our own lives.
And that ending, right? Like so many things left unanswered. It's like the story just keeps going even after the video ends. Joy's off celebrating. But is she like really happy? Is this, a new chapter for her? Or will she just end up back where she started? And then there's Tina. She's obviously feeling guilty and she's confessed her feelings to Abraham. But can she ever really move on from all this?
Yeah, it's that open ending that makes it so interesting, I think. It makes you really consider the weight of their choices, the consequences. Like, can someone like Tina, who, did some pretty questionable things, can she actually build a life with Abraham? And Abraham, can he ever really get over being betrayed by, his wife and someone he trusted?
It's kind of like real life, right?
Yeah.
There aren't always clear-cut endings. We're left to wonder what happens next and come to our own, conclusions.
And that's what I love about these deep dives. It's not just, passively watching something. It's an invitation to really think about it, to find meaning that connects with our own lives.
Totally. This video, it becomes a jumping off point for these conversations about relationships, ethics, the whole, human experience. It shows how even these little moments online can reflect these bigger societal trends.
Right. And maybe by engaging with these stories, by really digging into them, we can gain a better understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
So as we wrap things up here, I want to leave you with one last thought. In this world where, everyone's presenting these curated versions of themselves online, how do we build real connections? How do we protect ourselves from being manipulated both online and in our, personal lives?
It's a question that we need to keep thinking about, keep asking ourselves. We need to develop those media literacy skills, be mindful of how we present ourselves online, and really prioritize, authentic communication and empathy in all our relationships.
And maybe, just maybe, the biggest takeaway from all this is that, never underestimate the power of a story. Even one you find on TikTok, it can really make you think about what it means to be human, and hopefully inspire us to live more meaningful lives, to build connections that are deeper, more genuine.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So until next time,
Technical.
keep exploring, keep asking questions, and remember to always look beneath the surface. There's always more to the story than meets the eye.